All right, welcome to one last bonus lesson, G1. This is just a little 3D coffee cup to show you yet another way to draw. And in this one, how do we start just a whole new project, but still use symbols from this project? So that's what we're after for this one, okay? So I'm going to go to File and New and just create a completely new project. Now I've saved my Toucan, so be sure that you've given that a save. You could even close it out. It doesn't have to be open. And I'm going to make this a 500 by 500 pixel document. So it's just 500 by 500. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead, CMYK for your color mode, and hit create. So we have just our empty little document. We are going to go to the symbols panel, which should still be over here, the little clover leaf, the club. Click on that. But what you're going to notice is none of our symbols are in there. Well, that's because they all live in the Toucan file. So to get to that, we're going to go to the symbol library, the books, right? And then down at the very, very bottom where it says other library, we've got to go find the Toucan library. Now mine's trying to go inside Illustrator somewhere. So I got to go to my Toucan library. So here it is, toucan.ai. And then now what we see is there's the ones I have. There's my label, there's my Toucan, and there's my other or my logo, my label, my Toucan. So they're all in there now. And that's really all that you have to do. But I do want to put whatever one I want to use for this one. I'm going to have to drag it up into the symbols that go here. I'm going to use the logo. So I'm just going to drag my logo in. And then I can close out of here. But you could drag in more if you wanted to have like other options or whatever. You could drag in more. Okay, so there I've got it. It's in there and it's ready to go. Now I'll go ahead and turn my grid back on over here under my ruler and grids button. And then I'm going to draw two paths, and I give you kind of what the edges of a coffee cup, those plastic coffee cups kind of look like, but we're going to go back to the pen tool. And once again, we're just going to draw with open insides, you know, like we're just drawing one side. We're going to draw from the opposite side this time just so you can see the difference. So I'm going to go in here and draw something kind of like this, like over and then kind of like up, because there's like a little notchy thing. And honestly, it doesn't matter whether it looks exactly like this or not, because, you know, it's all going to work out in the end. Okay, so like there's what I got. Okay, and I hit enter. And if you want to, you know, I'm going to go ahead and curve, I think, this little corner right here, because I think it'll look cooler curved. Wow, not that much. Now, by the way, to flatten a side of a curve, hold on the Alt key while you drag that handle, and then it won't, oops, undo there. While you drag that handle, hold down Alt. There you go. And then it won't do what it was doing, where it was doing it to both sides. So now I can take this part and make it go up like that. Okay? There we go. So something like that. It doesn't really have to be perfect. And again, I could still make changes to this. This is actually way too long, but it's fine. I'll make it smaller later on. Okay, and I did enter there, and now I just need to do like the bottom part of the cup. And this is going to have an overhang, you know, because that's how these cups are. Again, I've made this cup entirely too big. So I'm just going to go like here for this one and hit enter. Okay, and then I'll take this top part and make it not so wide because I have like a lot going on there. And then finally, we need to set the colors on these. And white is fine. I've got black with white right now, but that was just so I could see it. If I go to the transparency, let me click off everything. If you come over here and click on the transparency grid, you can kind of see what's going on. I'm going to turn off the strokes because we don't want strokes when we're going into 3D. Same thing with this one. Okay, so strokes are off. I've got white fills on both, and then we need to group. And they need to touch each other, so I'm going to go into outline mode just to make sure. I'm going to use my arrow keys. Okay. All right, so I think that's good. And then I'll get out of that outline mode. So there we are. We're good to go. We're going to group the two shapes. So select them both and hit group. And then once again, we're going to go to the appearance panel. So it looks like the sunshine icon over here, FX button all the way to the top 3D, and revolve. Now this one's going to revolve the wrong direction because it's revolving from the left edge, and that's not the edge we need to revolve on. So just switch it to right edge. There you go. And then you get something that's a little bit more what we're looking like. Now I need to obviously pull this guy up. It looks pretty good. It's just way too short. So I'm going to have to make it taller. I'm going to hit OK. And as you know, we can just resize this way and resize this way, and it's going to edit everything. See, there we go. Or if you want a little short cup, you can make a little short cup. That looks pretty good. And then, of course, if you want to map the art again, you can map the art again. So 3D revolve, map art, find the surface that gets the red mesh that covers that portion. Okay, there we go. And then come and find out which one you want to use, like your logo. And I'm going to scale to fit so it's, you know, on there. And then I can come down here. You can hold shift, but these stretch a little bit anyway, so it's not necessarily the thing to do. Okay, now notice this one, I have to go over to this side because it's rotating on the opposite edge of the last project. But there you go. And again, if you change your rotation, you may need to change the way your label looks a little bit. But that's pretty much the story. That's how this works. Now I have created a little coffee cup as well. So we hit OK and all done. There you go. You could still right click these, by the way, and export them. So if you wanted to use it in another project or something, right click, export selection, and there it is. It will export it out as a PNG, which would have a transparent background, but then I could put this on like a PowerPoint slide or in a Google Slides project or on a web page or whatever and use it wherever I needed to. And that's it. Thanks for joining me.